What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, February 21st, 2019. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee.
What's good, Greg?
Video games.
I know.
Things like that,
I'm excited for tomorrow.
Anthem
launch day.
Are you all set? I'm assuming you're going to be there watching the countdown clock on your PlayStation, hit the button right away at 12:01 or 9:01 our time?
I'm probably going to be up pretty late tonight. I have to publish what's good for tomorrow, so get all that set. I haven't installed it yet because I haven't received my code yet.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get them today, right?
Today sometime, yeah. But I'm ready. I'm debating where I want to begin first because I'm supposed to stream with the girls on Saturday on Xbox, but I'm playing with the clan on PS4.
Yeah, and you're playing with us tomorrow.
Yes.
Twitch.tv/kindafunnygames.
And assuming you're playing on PS4.
Come on, Andrea. Yeah, of course I am.
Of course you are.
I didn't spend all week updating my drivers on my PC. This isn't on Game Pass, so there's no reason to turn on my Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Andrea Renee, here's the question I have for you.
Yes, of course.
Talk to me about where you're at with Anthem. Of course, Anthem, one of your most anticipated games of the year. You said. I think you said it was your most anticipated.
Correct.
V with a bullet. How are you feeling now? After not a week of bad reviews or anything like it hasn't been Fallout 76 crazy out there, but it has been a thing of like meh. You know what I mean? I feel like there's been a lot of dampening of spirits happening. Or where are your spirits? How are you feeling?
Spirits are so good. Spirits are high. I also am in a unique position where I am coming into the Anthem launch as a BioWare fangirl,
sure.
As somebody who really loves that studio and everything that they've done. I'm really excited about this new direction that they're taking, and I think it's a really innovative approach to merging, multiplayer cooperative gameplay with some really immersive storytelling.
Yeah.
And I want to see how that plays out. Have they had a little bit of a rocky start? Of course. We always knew that they were going to. This is their first time launching a game of this type with the multitude of issues that comes along with online connectivity, load times, optimization, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the complaints I've seen about the gameplay so far seem a little ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to use that word.
What for you when you what are the ones you're thinking of?
So
when you say
the two biggest complaints that I've seen bouncing around, not only in the What's Good Discord, but on the Anthem subreddit and of course on Twitter with some other people who've been playing the PC launch, is the big one that I saw was people being upset about the block and the story progression due to grinding. And when I actually dug into it and looked at it, I was like, this is not that big of a deal. There was a couple of bugs where the progress wasn't setting up in the right place, but they fixed that with the launch or the patch they pushed yesterday.
Yeah, day one patch, of course, I had read into it, right, that it starts tracking that stuff earlier in free play, so there's not even as much to do.
Right, and so I'm like, oh, you have to go out and do a couple fetch quests? Like, that's unheard of in video games? Like,
how many times did I patrol the fucking moon in Destiny 1, right?
Yeah, it's like, get those stupid helium filaments.
Yeah,
that to me, I'm like, okay, that seems like an unfair gripe. The other thing that I saw was now this new issue cropping up with people being mad about not knowing the combo system in combat and how the game doesn't tell that to you. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought you didn't want the hand holding in video games. And also the combo system was talked about extensively before launch. So unless you completely had your head under a rock and you have no desire to learn video game mechanics for yourself in a game, like, where are you coming from?
Damn, Andrea Renee laying people out.
Seriously. When I heard that people were complaining about that, and I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are out there. Maybe later. Maybe on Gamescast I'll name the names. I'm trying not to let people's negativity bring me down.
Sure.
Is this game going to have some problems? Yes.
Didn't
we know that
Did we know that from the start?
Of course.
I talked about this with Gary yesterday, right? I'm like, The Division 2, one of my most anticipated game of the spring for sure, probably the year in terms of things that have a release date. Like, I'm sure launch weekend's going to be a trash fire of things not going right. That's where Suck Sandwich comes in. He or she, they wrote in to kindafunny.com. No, damn it. They wrote into patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Kevin,
Greg.
order the shot collar. I'm never going to learn.
I can't do that.
Hi, Greg and Andrea. Yesterday, Gary said something that got me thinking. In reference to Anthem's launch state improving over time, he said, quote, "They're not charging me for the game in 6 months. They're charging me for the game now." So my question is, why are people so accepting of so many games as a service releases when a lot of them launch buggy, unfinished, and without enough real content or features to keep players satisfied? I always hear people say things like, well, the shooting in Destiny's great, or the flying around Anthem feels amazing. But does that really make up for a lack of content and sometimes the general lack of playability within the first few months of launch? I know most of these games get amazing updates down the line, but like Gary said, if I'm paying full price for the game, I'm expecting to get enough content to justify that without having to wait for a free or paid update in the future. Suck sandwich.
It's a valid point to bring up, and it's something we obviously talk about on the show quite a bit. But it's hard for me to answer that accurately without having completed all of Anthem's campaign.
Right. That, and I feel like that's the weirdest thing about this. And I touched on it yesterday with Gary. Like, we're in the, like, when people, well, the release schedule's so weird. You're like, yeah, whatever, who cares? And now we're in this really weird spot where, yeah, I see people fighting online about the combo system when they never taught us. Well, it's not that hard of a button. It's just like, I just sit here and drink my coffee. I'm like, I have no fucking idea. I don't know about the combo system because I have been, not blackout, but up until like getting closer and closer where people are like, you got to play this game. I'm like, all right, like I haven't been keeping up with it, right? So I am coming in Anthem pretty blank on the slate, but what I'm looking for tomorrow/tonight, right, is flying around feeling like Iron Man and playing some stuff with my friends and fighting things. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I'm getting into.
If that's what you're going into it with, you're going to have a great time. The flight mechanics in the game are fantastic.
Yeah.
The ability to play with your friends in, 4-player co-op, also awesome.
Yeah.
The world is beautiful. I'm really excited to dip into the lore and the narrative that they've set up with this brand new intellectual property. So if you're coming into it with, expectations that there's going to be some connectivity issues, some load screens, some optimization that's clearly going to happen over the next several weeks, then I think you're going to have a great time.
And to Suck Sandwich's question, right, like why they get a pass, games as a service get a pass, I think it's because so few and far between hit it on day one, but I know all the fun I've had with these games as a service throughout their life cycles, right? Where I am talking about even Destiny 1, where I dropped out when I hit level cap or whatever. I had a great time with it. Destiny 2, I had a great time with it. You talk about any other online game that I'm playing and blanking on. Division 1, right? Like, for all the problems I had with the fucking friend list not working or the times it would stall out on a connection, I still had a great time, and that's what I remember. I don't remember the day one woes of it.
Exactly, and I think there's something to be said for the fact that video game developers have to have a date to work against, a release date. And if it's going to be a games as service, they don't want to set up a whole roadmap without getting the community involved. I mean, I think Destiny 2 is a perfect example of this. Now, they clearly had their own roadmap for what they wanted to do, but then they've pivoted after talking to many members of the community and listening to player feedback and saying, hey, like, we're going to add this stuff in because you guys asked for it, and there's no way to do that until you get the game out there.
Yeah.
Right? And so you have to have the game launch and have a release date, even if it's not complete, even if it's not, the roadmap isn't completely defined, because you want to incorporate what the community wants from that game into the future updates. Now, that being said, it can't be a broken, buggy mess, but from everything I've read about Anthem, that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's not unplayable. Like, the issues of Fallout 76 being compared to Anthem, I think, is completely unfounded. I think as you guys were talking about yesterday on the show, you and Gary, like, they're just apples and oranges, like the issues between both of those games. From what I've seen, Anthem is a playable game that has story, that has content. Is it as much content as people want? I don't think we even know the answer to that question yet.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, and I feel like when we sign up for these games as a service, that's what you're getting. I think at this point, well into the game, if you want to be a day one, jump in there, you're expecting this, no? Like, I don't know, Division 2's big selling point that they've been pushing, right, or one of the biggest selling points, is that they're launching, with everything they learned from Division 1, all those different modes, all those different things, it sounds like there's going to be almost not too much content, but enough content that by the time it's all unlocked, you're going to be like, man, hours and hours of things to do. Is that true? Like, that's the thing. When we get that game, we'll have to see if that's actually true and if they've learned from that and done all these things. But who knows? I digress. This is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Today we'll be talking about the details on the Red Dead Online update, Overkill's Walking Dead maybe not being canceled, and a Skull and Bones TV show. This is where we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show. Right into patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where bronze members get to be part of the show. Silver members get the show ad-free as an MP3 and one big video. If you don't got any bucks to toss our way, no big deal. You can head over to twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Watch us record it live. If you're watching live, you have a special job to do. Go to kindafunny.com/you're-wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody listening later on MP3 services around the globe and everybody watching on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and roosterteeth.com. Some housekeeping for you. Friday, tomorrow, we're streaming Anthem here. Me, Big Kev Dog, Andrea. Will Andrea be in the room? We still don't know. But we will know soon, maybe. Twitch.tv/kindafunnygames immediately following the Kinda Funny screencast. What's that, Kev?
It'd be cool if we knew. I could set some things up.
But she wants to see how the servers are, you know what I mean? And we have to see how our internet's going to go today.
Well, and if there's all three of us and the stream on the same internet, I'm worried it's going to chug a little bit. And
we've never had problems with that before.
playing...
It's weird. We have it in this room.
Playing games.
In this room, we've never had the problem with that.
Well, so now, I've said this before, and
Here we
people
go.
are like, oh, you're wrong. But I think the issue is having that fourth PS4. When we have three,
Yeah.
totally
No problems.
fine.
Yeah.
You put a fourth one in there.
That's when Andy screws up.
Computer's like, wait a minute here.
That's what the computer sounds like. That's a good impression of the computer. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Tom Bach, TJ Meehan, Joe Beezer, Trevor Starkey, Mohammed, and Blackjack. Today, we're brought to you by Robinhood and Third Love, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 5 items on the Roper Report.
Oh, Baker's dozen.
Well, we're going to start with new details on the Red Dead Online update that is nearly here. This is from Jessie Wade over at IGN.com. Rockstar has released new details for Red Dead Online's update on February 26, which include new free roam events, showdown modes, races, and its first batch of new weapons, clothing, and emotes. Fool's Gold will be added to the free roam events, which will let players compete for a protective suit of golden armor. Whoever takes down the player wearing the armor will earn points and will be the wearer of the golden armor. 3 new showdown modes will be in the update that involve stealing loot from one another for survival and capturing and delivering bags. A new race will be added where players get to shoot at targets while on horseback while getting to checkpoints on a track, and new fishing challenges will come with the update, which will give you the equipment you need to complete each fishing challenge, such as rods, lures, and proper bait for the challenges. New weapons include the Evans repeater rifle and the double-barrel long-arm rare shotgun, which will be available at local gunsmiths and in the Wheeler and Rawson catalog. You going back to Red Dead at all?
No.
Online? No? Yeah.
Listen, after I completed that massive campaign...
Yeah.
Like the odds of me going back to online it's just not in the cards.
Is this, from what you know and scuttlebutt you hear, is this doing the GTA Online thing where it's slowly cooking in the background and we're going to ignore it and then we're going to look back one day and it's like, we got 10 million players. This is all anybody plays.
No. Well, yes and no. I think, yes, they're cooking in the background. Yes, they've got a long roadmap of content because after seeing the success of GTA Online, how could they not, right?
Sure.
Because that's where GTA 5 made most of its money.
Oh, that's why
online.
I kept selling. Yeah, it did not keep selling because people wanted to play as Trevor. It was very
Right.
much like everybody's playing online.
But Red Dead Online is not nearly as fun to play as GTA Online. And I feel confident saying that. And not to say that Red Dead Online isn't fun at all. Of course
sure.
it is. Like that world is beautiful and these challenges are really well thought out. And I just love the customization that you can do and all the different things you can buy. But I just think the pace of it is not fast enough for me.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to play something online with my friends, I want something that's a little bit more action driven and isn't just like repeater rifles over and over again.
Yeah, it's that interesting thing of I just don't see people talking about this the way even when GTA Online was in its infancy, people were talking about that. And obviously I think a lot of us prognosticating leading into this is like, well, this probably won't be GTA Online again because you can't have GTA Online every time. But also to your point of GTA Online was like what pulled me and Kevin in when we were like, what? It's like they got the fucking flying DeLorean. Like, yeah, let's go do that. That sounds awesome. And it became this playground and this buffet of different things to do that were wacky and wild and cool, colorful and crazy and cool. Whereas Red Dead is, again, like Red Dead 2 itself, right, was, hey, it's a cowboy simulator. And this is like, hey, it's a cowboy online simulator. Very similar.
Totally. And I think we're also in a different era right now. When GTA Online first came out, games as services were just beginning to become a thing. And now it's like a full-blown cycle. Plus, Battle Royale did not exist in its current form.
Sure.
Right? Obviously, there was still like H1Z1 and other forms of Battle Royale, but it was not like Fortnite, PUBG, Apex Legends, you know? Like, so those games are all pulling focus from...
Yeah, mindshare, right?
Yeah, from the audience that maybe would have played Red Dead Online.
It'll be be interesting to see what happens. And this isn't a transition. It's not. This is usually my bad transition. But it'll be interesting to see how that nets out and what happens and what milestones they do hit and how they keep it updated. Like, are they eventually going to break away from the cowboy simulator part of it and put crazy ass things in there and get nuts?
They're going to have to, because if you think about all of the crazy updates that they did for GTA Online, I remember doing the stories when I was at Game Trailers and Escapist News, wherever they would put out like a holiday pack.
Yeah.
You're like, look at this wild 4th of July pack with these crazy like bottle rocket like guns and things like that. It's like, that just doesn't work in Red Dead.
Or does it? Number 2 on the Roper Report. Overkill's The Walking Dead is not canceled. But I still don't believe him, so I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. 505 Games on Twitter said, we just wanted to clear the position on the Overkill's The Walking Dead on console and confirm that the game has not been canceled. Purely postponed whilst development is ongoing. We will share further news as soon as it's possible. James Batchelor over at GamesIndustry.biz included this then. It's not clear whether this is an additional delay to the one announced in January, which pushed Overkill's The Walking Dead on console back from its original February release date. GamesIndustry.biz has contacted 505 for clarification. GamesIndustry.biz has also contacted PlayStation to clarify whether pre-orders have really been canceled. Of course, this stems from yesterday here. We were talking about the fact that a PlayStation email was going out to people who had pre-ordered the Overkill's The Walking Dead saying, hey, the game's canceled. James jumps back in. The platform holder has occasionally done so when a title is delayed with no sign of a new launch date. For example, when Ubisoft's South Park, The Fractured But Whole was pushed back. It's understandable why there are concerns around the console version of Overkill's The Walking Dead. The PC edition has performed poorly since launching in November, generating only $3.7 million for Starbreeze. I wouldn't hold your breath, Andrea.
No.
I wouldn't hold your breath on this one coming out. I understand 505 getting out there. I will be interested to see if GamesIndustry.biz can get a statement from PlayStation as to why, but don't hold your breath.
They probably have a licensing agreement that dictates they have to release something, or there's some kind of massive penalty.
Sure, Robert Kirkman comes.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they're like, it's not canceled. We're going to release it
Everybody
someday.
chillax. Yeah. They're just trying to wait up the clock. Will Starbreeze be here in 2 months to actually finish the game? We'll see. Who knows? Number 3. More women are watching esports. This is from Brendan Sinclair over at GamesIndustry.biz. According to Interpret's latest quarterly online survey of around 9,000 U.S. residents, 30.4% of people who watch esports on console or PC are female. That's up from 23.9% for the fourth quarter survey of 2016. Overall, girls and women account for 35% of people who play esports games on console or PC, and 20.3% of those who watch a specific esports league on those platforms. Quote, changing behaviors among a large segment of people is difficult, said Interpret's VP of Research for the EMEA, Tia Christensen. Progress of this size always takes time. However, a 6% gain in gender share over a 2-year period is a trend in the right direction. If 2 years from now the female audience grabs an additional 6% in share, esports viewership will be in the gender parity with what we consider standard among traditional console and PC games, end quote. The firm noted that many major esports titles tend to show extremely low female involvement, with Blizzard's Hearthstone and Overwatch at 26% female, trailed by Counter-Strike Global Offensive at 24%, Rainbow Six Siege at 23%, and Dota 2 at 20%. Quote, as an industry, more progress will be made as females' role in traditional esports titles continue to grow, given the efforts from some of the industry's leaders, Christensen said. More likely than not, a lot of that growth may come in non-traditional esports genres, and especially games tailored to mobile and tablet devices. The future is female, Andrea. How does this make you feel?
It feels good, Greg. Feels good.
I'm happy with this news.
It's about time.
What? Yeah, my wallet's on my desk. Go ahead and rob me.
I love how Tim comes in to be like, yo,
I need the credit card.
money.
I need the company card. I got a new one yesterday. Pretty excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this is obviously something that is going to keep growing, and the audience of women who not only watch esports but play games that are at the professional level and the competitive level, but also just women who play games in general is going to grow as new generations coming up behind us are getting introduced to video games at a much younger and younger age.
Yeah.
So this is great news. I'm happy to hear it, and I hope that we can make more progress with the professional player base as well, because it is not even close to this
Oh
as
God,
far
no!
as
Andy,
the split, right?
We did a thing on Kind of Funny podcast. That's what we do. That's a show called We Do, right?
That for Kind of Funny.
We
yeah.
do a show called the Kind of Funny
There
podcast.
is a show called the Kind of
We
Funny
did the Kind of Funny
podcast.
podcast on Monday. That's out on Patreon tomorrow. And we were talking about esports, and we went through all the Overwatch League teams. Because for some reason Andy and Nick are Dallas Fuel fans, and I was like, well, I want to support a different team just so I can hate you guys.
Yeah,
and so
of
we
course,
went through and
rivalry.
but it was the thing of like, oh right, this is me because I'm completely ignorant to esports. But I was like, oh, Overwatch League, this is the one where there's the one female player, right? Like, and it's like, oh yeah, and like it's like you hope it all starts with a trickle. Right? We've talked about this in the show before. You see the one owl player, right? And then that's going to lead to someone who's watching and be like, I can do that too. And then, it's a slow, steady growth of transition. You hope it's better. Like they're talking about here, how fast it's changed, right? That they're seeing a 6% gain over 2 years. That's great. And you hope that, that continues and keeps to inspire people that no games are for everybody.
Absolutely.
Except Kevin. He can't play.
Yep.
Number 4. Here's one for you. Kevin, don't even try to stop this because there's no way you would actually talk about it on your stupid show. Available tomorrow, the Kind of Funny screencast. Number 4, Ubisoft is developing a female-driven Skull and Bones show. This is from Patrick Shanley over at The Hollywood Reporter. Ubisoft is going where no video game adaptation has gone before. The publishing giant has teamed with Atlas Entertainment to adapt its pirate adventure game Skull and Bones before the game is even released. While the 2016 Michael Fassbender feature Assassin's Creed was based on one of Ubisoft's most popular franchise.
That did super well, right?
It did really well. I think they're working on a whole bunch more of them. This time, the company's film and television division is doubling down on an unproven IP. Quote, Ubisoft is known for creating innovative video games that combine immense worlds with rich narratives, says the company director of development for television, Danielle Krennic. Will exec produce the TV show alongside the head of Ubisoft Film and Television, Jason Altman. It's a bold vote of confidence for the open world adventure game, which is planned for a release this year. But is it presumptuous to assume it will be a hit? Yes, it is. That's Greg, not the writer, Patrick. Yes, it is. The TV adaptation is billed as a female-driven drama set in the lawless frontier of the Indian Ocean at the end of the golden age of piracy in the 1700s. Amanda Siegel, who executive produced Spike's TV's The Mist, will write the pilot and exec produce. Atlas is a whole bunch of people we don't care about. And you can talk about that. Kevin, you have my permission to talk about that on screen. Skull and Bones is the latest project in Ubisoft's aggressive push into film and TV. It's the first live action comedy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia's Rob McElhenney and Charlie Day, 3 Arts and Lionsgate, was ordered straight to series by Apple. Meanwhile, David Leitch is developing a feature based on Ubisoft's The Division series with Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain attached to star.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, will that ever happen? We heard about that forever ago too.
Tom Clancy, though, don't forget.
I know.
I think of all the projects, that probably has the most likelihood in order to cross over into Hollywood. But I want to make an aside here about Assassin's Creed, because you guys were like poo-pooing it for a second.
Poo-poo.
And I'm going to admit,
asked a question if it did well or not.
I'm going to tell you, it did. Its worldwide lifetime gross was over $240 million.
Oh, that does not sound good.
Well, the production budget was an estimated $125 million, so that means they made at least $100 million. That is a win in Hollywood.
No. They want to triple their production value. That's always the goal.
Obviously, that's the goal, but if they're right side up on it by $100 million, Kevin, that's a win.
Release the Snyder Cut of Justice League, you cowards! We were so close to having a cool universe, and then everybody got their fucking thumbs in the pie and fucked it up.
I don't like this character that you're creating.
What? The truth?
No.
Yeah. So, anyways, Skull and Bones.
This is weird.
Here's the thing. The Division, right, when they announced it, I was like, you know what? And Jake Gyllenhaal I like, Jessica Chastain I like. I'm like, that could be a cool movie. The premise of The Division isn't hung up on, hey, here's the character you need to be, and here's what, like, it's just your Division agents. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, great. Skull and Bones kind of sounds the same way. I know nothing about Skull and Bones because it started as, you're the ship, and now it's like, no, you're a person. And now I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this game is.
Yeah.
But this idea of a female-led bunch of pirates in the 1700s, oh, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
I'm in.
Yeah, but what is the game? How does it tie into this game? Does it need to tie into this game? Like, whatever, but...
Yeah, it's weird to do any kind of publicity for a game that we haven't seen, haven't heard from, don't have a release date, no one's ever played it, outside of that E3 press event that they did.
Yeah.
It's just... Okay, sure.
I'm not knocking them again. I think in the same way I just said, The Division sounds like on paper it could be cool because whatever. Skull and Bones on paper sounds like it could be cool. It's such a weird move because remember 2010, maybe 8, somewhere in there. The big thing was always, oh man, we want a transmedia property. We want a property that here's the game, here's the books, here's the cartoon. And it's like, oh my God, can we just get one thing right? And so many of them weren't right in any way, shape, or form from the start. Like this rings like that, but I hope it won't be.
It's interesting you bring that up because last year when I did a panel with Janina Gavankar, who of course was the face of Battlefront 2.
Sure. She was on our
actress and game enthusiast and now game developer. She was talking about how everyone's throwing this word transmedia around, but they don't know what it means. They don't know how to execute, and that every property shouldn't be transmedia. It's really fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, it's because she's a real gamer like us, right? It's very much like, get it right. Just get it right and make something cool first and then do it. It was my concern when they did it with Horizon. I forget, it was somebody at PlayStation, not one of the usual talking heads, somebody from marketing who was like, yeah, it was a year before Horizon came out and they were talking about how they wanted it to be like this big brand, and I was like, be careful. Be careful.
But now that it's out and it's amazing, yes, make it huge.
I agree. Give me everything. Get Jessica Chastain in that role. You know what I mean?
As Aloy?
No, I'm kidding around. Don't do that.
She could do it.
She could do it, but you know who's born to play the role is Ygritte from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like she is.
So right.
She is born for that role, and that's why Kevin, we are announcing our Kickstarter today to fund this film, a fan film. We'll hire her. We'll get it in there. We can get somebody. Shuhei, he'll sign it. Sean Layden, he'll sign off on it. We'll be ready to go.
I don't know if that's true at all.
Well, you don't know till you try. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Kev.
True.
Number 5, and finally, former Battlefield boss announces a new studio. This is from Jordan Ramee, over at GameSpot. Former EA executive and vice president of Worldwide Studios, Patrick Soderlund, has announced his indie studio titled Embark is beginning development on its first game. In a blog post, Soderlund detailed the type of game Embark is working on. Quote, "Lots about this first game of ours will change and evolve as we progress," he wrote. With that caveat out of the way, I can tell you that it's a cooperative, free-to-play action game set in a distant future about overcoming seemingly impossible odds by working together. Embark is using Epic's Unreal Engine to develop the game. So just a quick blurb there. Heads up, that's happening out there.
I looked at Patrick's blog here, and a couple of things. First off, they're pitching themselves as like this tiny little indie studio, but they started with 50 people. And then he writes here, in the first few weeks, the 6 of us who founded the studio huddled together in a tiny room we had managed to borrow and worked on the stuff that any new company has to deal with, hiring people, finding an office, setting up a basic website, and getting our paperwork in order. And I want to go, that rings so false, because we're talking about Patrick Soderlund, who got like a $30 million bonus when he left EA. Now, that number might not be exactly correct.
He got a big bonus when he left EA.
This is a perfect time for kindafunny.com/you're wrong.
Okay.
But I want to remind people who Patrick Soderlund is. He was the guy that really like ushered in the era of microtransactions at EA. And he was incredibly successful and made them a crap ton of money. And then he's like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to go work on something else. I mean, he is a brilliant, very talented man. I don't want to take away from his studio and the people he's working with, but I want to like set expectations for the kind of studio that he's building. I don't know why it just rings a little hollow to me. This like message of like we're this tiny little group of people just kind of scrapping it together, making our own little studio. And I'm like,
because you got an axe to grind. You'll never forget. Yeah, anybody's tainted with EA, you're never gonna let them go. You know what I mean?
That's not true.
Microtransactions. Andrea's gonna remember you.
Oh, me, Andrea, Renee, EA, as the fucking YouTube comments like to call me. Don't think I don't see what you're doing over there.
That's actually really clever. They capitalize EA at the end.
Yeah, they do. They think they're real clever, Greg.
I like that one. Do something with my name. Do something cool with my name. Put 3s in it. Eat 3. Oh my God! I almost broke the fucking table.
Obviously, I want to see what he's going to do. You know, coming off of the massive success that he led, EA through, I would like to know like what type of game they're planning to do. Obviously, he said it's free to play. I think that's worth noting.
Lord of Pwn says Patrick got a $20 million bonus.
$20 million. So I was close. So I just don't know like. what the studio is going to be, what their philosophy is going to be, if he's going to take over some of his lessons learned from his days at EA and apply those to what they're doing at Embark, or if he's like, you know what? I'm done with that. Actually, I want to do something completely different. I want a completely different change of pace, a fresh start. I want to make games in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to like sit down and chat with him about that.
Maybe we can get him in here or to What's Good Games. But yeah, I'm interested as well. And I think that's one of the reasons it got here, right? Is the fact that even if you're like, I don't know who this guy is, you know who this guy is. If you watch the EA press conference for the last however many, 5 years for sure, he was always the guy up there
stage,
looking sharp.
Yes.
Well dressed.
He's
good
a very
suits.
handsome gentleman.
He is handsome. I'm not afraid to say it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. Yeah, obviously. Cooperative free-to-play action game set in the distant future about overcoming seemingly impossible odds by working together. So it's going to be Apex Legends. And we're just making it. We have breaking news here from the You're Wrong section. Thank you very much, Nanobiologist, who writes in and shows us that a tweet from Christofer Sundberg. I just announced to the team here at AvalancheStudios that I will be leaving the company at the end of April. The studio I founded in my kitchen, built, ran, and loved for 16 years, working together with fantastic individuals and teams. So good luck to you, Christofer. Go out there and get him. I hosted many panels with him. Good man. Leaving Avalanche Studios, what he founded in his kitchen. Maybe without a $20 million bonus like Patrick. Who knows? Andrea.
Yes, Greg.
I can't wait to see what Christofer and Patrick do. Maybe Christopher's going to Patrick. I just started that rumor. Right here. But it's going to be a long time before we know anything. If I wanted something more immediate, like say what came to the mom and grop shops, where would I go?
You would go to the official list of upcoming software as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today. Strap in. It's Thursday. Eventually we're going to get to just the Nintendo Switch Avalanche. Bannerman on PC. Batalj on PC. SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy on PC. Man. Yumi Nikki Dream Diary on Switch, Cube 2 on Switch, Devil Engine on PC and Switch, Dragons Dawn of New Riders on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch, Hell Warders PS4 and Switch, Hexamaze on PS4. Stay comes to iOS, Android, Apple TV, and Android TV. Super Ninja Meow Cat comes to PC and Mac, and then Trident's Wake goes to Steam Early Access. Strap in. The rest of these games are all Nintendo Switch games. I'm crossing out one. That's a future one. Alchemic Dungeons DX. Almost there, the platformer. Origami Shadow Edition. Arcade Archives Frontline. Car Mechanic Simulator. Fuck me. That's not the full title. The fuck me was me. Caterpillar Royale. Are you fucking kidding me? Dungeon Stars. Gigantic Army. We already talked about Hell Warders. I Wanna Fly. Mind Ball Play. My Arctic Farm 2018. Pizza Parking. Kevin, I need a trailer for Pizza Parking.
Yeah.
Rotating Brave. Surfingers.
Surfingers.
Is it Surfingers or is it Surfingers?
Surfingers.
I'm going to say it's Surfingers.
Yeah.
The Golf. What the fuck? The Journey Down Trilogy. Warplanes. WW2 Dogfight. X-Morph Defense. I already did the Dream Diary one, thank God. Oh, and here we go. Oh, and then this is one from me that I tossed in at the end here. Lost Planet, Lost Planet 2, Lost Planet 3, and Lost Planet Colonies are all coming to Xbox One backward compatibility today. Thanks, Major Nelson, for the news. Here we go. You got Pizza Parking for me? Kevin's working on it. Pizza Parking. Can you show the kids? Oh, man. This is that is definitely a tutorial front page. Not working?
Wait, I just lost my board.
Okay.
Like to control stuff.
Okay, so
no, don't even worry
let
about
me describe it to everybody listening.
Sure.
So we're looking at kind of a top-down view. And it is a car that has a pizza icon on its hood.
We have it back, sorry.
That's fine.
And there's a bunch of parking cones that you have to park back up in. And so your trunk is filled with pizzas. This is literally like a driving test. If you hit the cones, you're done.
This is, God, I hope this is coming eventually to PlayStation. I hope it's an easy platinum. Because this is, just drive this car around and if you touch a cone, it's game over.
Okay, so there's other cars in the parking lot, and so you have to park. Oh, so you basically have to park in this space with all these cones and not hit the cones.
Okay.
It's like taking your driver's license test.
Well, doesn't that sound like fun, everybody?
No, actually.
New dates
What's the
for you.
pizzas, though? I want.
You got pizzas in the back seat. See,
They're
you're
falling out.
you're trying to
Falling
park
out.
it with pizza. They knew they'd get if this was driver test simulator, I wouldn't be into it. But if you put pizza in the title, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Look at it. He's got a parallel park in here.
Also,
Oh my gosh.
Barrett rolling in here with the beanie and the sunglasses. Too cool for school. What's
Yeah,
happening?
he's taking on all of Kevin's bad traits.
Yeah.
It's just annoying to see little Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm just looking. I'm still, the guy leaving. Okay.
Where you
Leaving Avalanche. And then on their website, they had the thing up here about in May of 2018 getting bought by Nordisk Film. So I wonder if it must have been the part of my contract that said I had to stay this long is up.
Yep, that sounds right.
New dates for you from House. Okay, on Untitled Goose Game. Oh, I see where we're going with this. Andrew put this one in.
Yes.
A bit of this is from the Untitled Goose Game people.
They tweeted this.
A bit of news due to circumstances beyond our control. Our Goose Game will not be arriving until later in 2019. This means we'll be able to make the best Goose Game possible. Thanks for your patience. We'll get this goose to you as soon as we can. And then they put up they did announce this in a funny video.
Yeah, it's like a little short, 18-second video where it says coming early 2019, and then the goose runs across and snatches the word early out and runs away.
Yeah.
And then they put coming later 2019.
Later, yeah, that was funny. There's also a new date for you on this. Terra Cross Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, the latest crossover event from Terra, their flagship true action combat MMORPG. This month-long collaboration will launch on March 5th for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Terra players can look forward to dropping in and engaging in PUBG-style BAMs. What the hell's a BAM?
A BAM? Don't know.
It must be from Terra. Additionally, Terra Cross Player Unknown's Battlegrounds will bring the chance to earn and unlock exclusive themed cosmetics and pets, and en masse entertainment will be running daily login bonuses for the duration of the limited time crossover. So yeah, if you love Terra,
It's a big ass monster, Greg.
PUBG. That's what a BAM is?
That's what a
I'm
BAM
terrified.
is.
Death Mark is coming to Steam on April 4th, 2019, and The Division is getting a PC-only technical test this weekend. Selected users should be checking their emails today. Deals of the day for you. Xbox Live Gold members can experience the Halo universe from a unique angle with Halo Wars Definitive Edition and Halo Wars 2. The free play days event begins Thursday, so now, and runs through Sunday at midnight. Get on it if you want to play if you got Xbox Gold, you want to play some Halo Wars for free. Get it. Time for reader mail, Andrea. But first, I'm going to tell you it's brought to you by our sponsors, Robinhood and ThirdLove. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. While other brokerages charge you up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all your profits. Plus, there is no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections, such as 100 Most Popular. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving listeners of Kinda Funny Games Daily a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at games.robinhood.com. That's games.robinhood.com. Next up, it's ThirdLove. Let's talk about bras. Using millions of real women's measurements, ThirdLove designs its bras with breast size and shape in mind for an impeccable fit and incredible feel. Why is ThirdLove so good? The Fit Finder Quiz. ThirdLove uses data points generated by millions of women who have taken the Fit Finder Quiz to design the bra for a premium fit and feel. Answer a few questions and you can find your perfect fit in 60 seconds. Over 12 million women have taken the quiz to date. It's actually fun and it takes less than a minute to complete. ThirdLove helps you identify your breast size and shape and find styles that fit your body, but don't take my word for it. Take my wife's. She ordered from ThirdLove and loves her bra. She told me, quote, "It doesn't feel cheap like most other bras. It's mostly meant to be worn strapless, and it still came with 2 sets of strap," end quote. 2 sets of straps, people. Be like Jen. ThirdLove knows there's a perfect bra for everybody. So right now, they are offering my listeners 15% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/games and find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/games for 15% off today. Oh, Andrea.
Yes,
Where
Greg.
do I want to start today? We got a lot of good questions in here. Here we go with DJBradChill. DJBradChill wrote into patreon.com/kindafunnygames like all bronze members can and says, What's good, guys? So I've just recently beat Kingdom Hearts 3 and I'm currently playing through Crackdown 3, parentheses. By the way, I totally agree that Crackdown 3 is by no means a Game of the Year contender or even a good game at best, but it's dumb fun. End parentheses. I've seen a lot of criticism for both of these titles, stating that they feel like last-gen games, and I actually agree with those statements. My question is a game quote-unquote feeling like a last-gen title objectively a bad thing, or is it just a subjective criticism specific to each player's preferences? I absolutely loved Kingdom Hearts 3, even though the gameplay could have been expanded to match current-gen standards, and I'm enjoying the hell out of Crackdown despite its obvious flaws. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on this new game feels old convo. Love what you do, DJBradChill.
I think what needs to happen...
Mike.
Wait, what, Kevin?
Be closer to your mic, please.
Sorry, I'm trying to log into my Robinhood app. I realized I hadn't logged in a while.
You gonna get some ETFs? ETFs.
I don't even know what ETFs are.
Dude, if you're not getting ETFs, man, you ain't playing the market right. What I like to do is go cash out my ETFs, go down, play the ponies. You know what I mean? I don't understand finances.
Okay, so back to the question at hand.
Sure.
Thank you, Kevin, for reminding me to talk into
old.
my microphone. Mic discipline is important while podcasting. I think it's totally fine if a new game has old mechanics or feels maybe a little dated as long as the polish is impeccable. Because there's a ton of games that embrace retro styling, even retro style graphics, and other types of game mechanics that have been done before. A game doesn't need to reinvent the wheel every time.
Sure.
Obviously, we like to see innovation in game development, but it's not necessary in order to make a really fantastic game, as long as the polish is there. And so I would say, is the polish there in these specific examples?
Crackdown in Kingdom Hearts? Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
probably not. I mean, Kingdom Hearts definitely has a nice level of polish. Are there a couple issues here and there? Sure. But I think that game suffers from less about polish or even less about a game that feels old and more about a game that just doesn't feel as fun as people were hoping it was going to feel.
And that's the thing. I think, his question, is a game feeling like a last-gen title objectively a bad thing?
No.
Of course not. I just think especially for these two examples, it just puts it into a class that means something. And then for you as a player, you have to decide if it is a subjective thing. Is that bad? You know what I mean? Like, I fully intend still to fuck around with Crackdown one weekend. It's still there on the Xbox. I downloaded it. I'm going to get into it and just screw around and get some orbs. And I'll never beat it, I'm sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll play it and be totally enamored with one Terry Crews and never stop playing. But I think, as we've talked about before, it's what are you looking for in a game, right? Kingdom Hearts fans, right? Kingdom Hearts 3 is designed for Kingdom Hearts fans. Kingdom Hearts 3, I do not, in my heart of hearts, believe was designed to bring in new people.
Of course it wasn't.
And it doesn't need to, right? Because it is, there's nothing wrong with saying we're making a game for our fan base. We're not making a game for the general public.
I'm going to disagree with you there, though.
Okay.
I think that games should always be looking to attract new players, especially if it's a game that's built on existing IP or licensed characters. And this game was all about the Disney characters, right? Like all these different Disney worlds. We're going to bring in a lot of the original voice actors who voiced these characters in the Disney films. That to me says we want to cast that net as wide as possible to get as many Disney fans into playing Kingdom Hearts. Because if this was just about Sora's story, they wouldn't have needed to do all of that excess work, right? They could have just really focused on the actual narrative threads that exist within the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and I had to bring in all of these other Disney elements. And now I'm aware, obviously, that the Disney IP has always been tied to Kingdom Hearts. It's like their thing, but it wouldn't have needed to be as expansive as it was.
My thing, and I stick with me, is when I'm saying that they don't need to bring in new people, I'm talking more about like me, who has no interest. I've never played it, and I'm not a Disney person. I would argue to say that if you are a Disney person and a video game person, you've already played Kingdom Hearts, or already interested in Kingdom Hearts, and that's why you coming to Kingdom Hearts 3, I think still works in a way that I'm talking about. Like, you're not trying to get every person in the mainstream out there.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah.
With that clarification, that makes sense.
Exactly. I'm not saying a game should ever shut down their walls and be like, we're only to our existing fans. Like, you know what I mean? There's ways to get new people in that have a passing interest in Disney, or for the first time played Final Fantasy, and you're like, oh man, this, I like this kind of gameplay or this kind of narrative structure. But no, I don't think it's an objectively bad thing. It just puts it in the same way I'm always like, man, I just don't have a time for a game that isn't a great game, right? There's so much to play. There's so many amazing experiences every week. Do you have time to play something that feels old? Sure you do. If you like love that kind of thing, like, you know, so many people I'm sure look at Tetris 99 and are wrong, but are like, why would I play more Tetris? I've played Tetris. So I don't need to play Tetris.
Well, it comes back to love what you love.
Yeah, exactly.
If you enjoy it, if you're having fun with it, that's really the most important part. If the game is giving you a sense of satisfaction, if it's sparking joy in your life, Greg.
This is from a show that I haven't watched on Netflix. Do you know it, Barrett?
Yeah.
Marie Kondo's.
That's her name, right?
I haven't watched it though.
You haven't watched it either? Okay, well then, we'll move on. Yeah, but DJBradChill, it's not objectively bad. It's subjectively bad or good, depending on who you talk to. I'm sure most Kingdom Hearts fans are probably like, I like how it works. Why don't fix what ain't broken, right? As a Metal Gear fan, right? I was like, oh, Metal Gear Solid 5 is just Peace Walker in HD. Fuck yeah, I'm in. Let's go. Professor Woke has a question, and I have a long answer that I'm pulling from way back in the archives.
Okay.
What's good? Kind of funny. I've been intrigued by Dreams for some time now, and its imminent release brought a few questions to mind. I was wondering, what exactly are the legalities behind using other IPs in a game with creation tools?
Lord.
I know they've had a similar circumstance with Little Big Planet, but if the game creation software of Dreams is as robust as I've been hearing, this is a whole different level than the precedent of Little Big Planet. I have to imagine there's some connection to fair use or the fact that it is user-generated. And there's certainly an argument to be made about lost/canceled games like PT or less mainstream games like Patapon 2, both of which were essentially remade in Dreams. Personally, I'd be down to see exclusive properties like Halo, Gears, Zelda, Pokemon, etc. on Sony's platform, but I can't imagine Xbox, Nintendo, and other IP holders would be particularly thrilled to have their game/characters taken without some form of compensation. Parentheses, not to mention other properties from outside gaming. And on the flip side of the issue, are there any protections for for original content produced within Dreams? Is everything produced in Dreams automatically Media Molecule's property? Is the platform ever going to a place from which original content can originate and become a real game? You have a lot of questions there, Professor Woke, and there's things that have been repeated throughout Kind of Funny Games Daily Questions as we go. My first reaction is, of course, I'm not a legal expert, and I wish I were. So if you are and you know stuff, feel free to write into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and explain it in more detail. What I did, though, is dug up and did some research, which is rough for me because I usually do nothing for this show. But what I did is I found an IGN interview from 2008. Morton Robinson back in the day, a young Greg Miller working in the States, would have probably proofread this. IGN, Martin asks, and he's talking to Media Molecule, were you anticipating some of the copyright issues that blighted the game early on? David Smith responds from Media Molecule, we always had plans for dealing with that, but there were some problems in the process that we hadn't foreseen. We learned from it, and Sony worked really hard to resolve it. Alex Evans from Media Molecule. There were 3 issues. 1 was negative and 2 were positive. The negative one was how hard it was to get a worldwide legal harmony because different countries have different laws around copyright infringement. We knew that people would be creative and that there would be references. It was hard getting the right balance on a worldwide angle. But then there's been these 2 mad positives. 1 was the high quality of the levels, including the infringing ones. The other point is the number of IP owners who came up to us and said, please whitelist us. We'll never ask you to pull infringing stuff. I can't say who that is, but those 2 things really shocked me. I think it shocked the IP holders who were like, hang on, my IP is being represented and it's being represented really well. The IP holders have to have the last say over the representation of their brand, and that's fair enough. So we've always got to have a method for people misusing a brand. But what's been really lovely is how well represented so many brands are. Back to David. The concern was how people could take existing IP and refer to it in a really negative way, but that hasn't been a problem with that. Alex, a lot of people asked us before it came out about how Spore had issues with the so-called penises, and that's going to happen because every kid draws a knob on the blackboard at school. But we were all really surprised by how few there were. In Little Big Planet, people's second instinct might be to draw a knob, but the first instinct is to actually have a go at making something fun and enjoyable. And I'm really glad the penis factor has gone down in the rankings. David, even if there was no pulling of offensive comment, I'm sure you could go through 100 levels and find nothing objectionable. And then Kareem. The numbers are amazing, and we've got a system so that when IP holders get upset about anything, we address it. But one thing about copyrights and IPs, there's a dark side to it, but there's a completely awesome side to it. It's like hip-hop being completely about refactoring, and about classic art refactoring ancient art. And there's an inevitable sort of relationship between creative minds that one must never try to kill. So, I've always seen the Little Big Planet stuff and now Dream stuff and been like, I assume people don't care. From what they're saying, granted, in a 2008 interview in a different time, they are having conversations with people who do care, take my shit down, but other people who are like, all right, whatever, roll with it. And I feel like that's what Dreams is going to be as well. I don't think Dreams is going to... Let's look at it this way, right? Fortnite is the biggest fucking game in the world. And that's what drew out Alfonso Ribeiro to be like, hey, that dance is my dance. Let's talk about it. Whereas games for years have used that dance, but they've never crossed that threshold of this is a big enough deal to actually waste our time with or to look for a benefit from.
Right.
Them making PT and Dreams, remaking PT and Dreams, is that a big enough problem for Konami to come at them about?
No, because you can't sell PT in Dreams for commercial profit. Right. And I think that's a big thing where people would want to bring legal action as if somebody else was profiting from their intellectual property. But if I make, let's say I remake Thomas Was Alone in Dreams and I'm like, I just wanted to make this to see if I could do it, but I can't sell that. Yeah. Right.
And is Sony then going to promote it as, hey, you can play Thomas Was Alone in Dreams? No. And even is that going to cause a run on the marketplace of people buying Dreams because they want to go play Thomas Was Alone? No.
Doubtful.
Like it's all these. You're dealing with such little percentages of does this really matter? Is this enough for you to go? And when you're talking about especially big corporations, big companies, I don't think you have to worry about it.
It was interesting that while you were reading that, I was trying to find a definitive answer from Media Molecule, and they, of course, have been very cagey about answering this question because I think Sony's legal is still working out the exact legal language that they want to use when they finally do come forward with a decision. And the issue was also brought up on the other side of the copyright aisle of people who create something original within Dreams. Then do they retain any of the ownership rights? Does Media Molecule, does Sony, is it shared? What if they use assets from other community creators? Then is it shared between all of the creators plus Media Molecule and Sony? And it also looks like there's no definitive answer to that as well.
Yeah, I think the EULA you sign up for and get into, right, is going to say that anything you create in here is owned by them. However, I also don't think they'd bust your balls if you paint something really cool and then made it into a print and tried to sell it. You know, like what you're talking about is more realistic, I think, of if I made something that it was taking all of Kevin's creations and your creations and I put it into a thing and then I sold that, then there'd be slippery slope. But again, the EULA is going to be there and it's only going to become a problem if it gets big enough. So it'll be an interesting thing, but I think they do have years and years and years of experience with Little Big Planet that they'll be able to actually take to this and figure out what's going on. Andrea.
Yes, Greg.
It's time to squad up.
All right,
let's do it. This is where one of you writes into kindafunny.com/fuckme. That's not what I say anymore. Buy the shot collar, Kevin. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames. You go there. You participate in the post when you're a bronze member, just like Todd Williams did. Todd Williams needs help on the PlayStation 4. Todd Williams' PSN name is Bigdubbsbucs. BIGDUBBSBUCS. Send that to Kevin. Can you? I think
I'll just tag Kevin. You're tagged in it too.
Okay, Kevin, you're getting tagged in a tweet we need to show people. Anyways, Bigdubbsbucs says, picked up Anthem pre-order and can't wait to jump into those jabs. I'm a working dad with 3 kids, so looking for chill best friends, free mostly in the evenings after the kids are in bed. If that sounds like you and you want to play Anthem with Kind of Funny best friend Todd Williams, hit up Bigdubbsbucs on PlayStation 4. If you didn't hear me read it, it's in the YouTube description. You can get it there. While this tweet gets pulled up, I'm going to tell you about You're Wrong. We asked people watching live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames to go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up.
Go to my feed, Kevin.
So we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, roosterteeth.com, listening on podcast services around The Globe.
Question for you.
Yeah.
As you say podcast services now, you said MP3 services at the top of the show, and I wanted to know what that's all about.
That's me just keeping it loose, man. Just hanging 10 out here. Just, sometimes I open my mouth and I'm not sure what's going to come out. I hope it's not a spider.
When you did the copyright conversation, I thought you were going to sing the copyright song from the one day we streamed the...
Oh, yeah, I know. That's a funny video if you can find it online, but you know how I am on a podcast.
Go to tweets and replies.
I black out everything I say.
It's a lot of work, Andrea.
Hey, you know what? Put it on Slack then.
That's it. There, click the top one.
And then, so I remember I asked people to do something cool with my name, because Andrea gets to be Andrea, but with a capital EA at the end, and then show this, Kev. They took my name,
but I wrote to him. I wrote to Caesar and said, "This is cool, but it's not mean or biting."
Well, it doesn't need to. They can just be mean to you. Everybody can be nice to me. You can take it. I can't take it. I'm a daffodil. Show it again. Show it again.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, cool.
I'm a little flower, like peeking up from the dirt, and any like criticism could crush me in a second. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
You're a rock.
This is from @CaesarTowers, by the way.
So if you're an audio listener, it's my name, Greg Miller, but then the E3 logo in between the Greg and the Miller, and then the E is the E and Greg, and the 3 is the E and Miller, and it's pretty dope.
Because it's got lead speak in there too.
Lead speak. You're wrong. Let's see what we got here now. Okay, so Finland BTW says, not sure if it belongs in You're Wrong, but I don't agree with Andrea that Patrick was the one pushing microtransactions. In my opinion, this was CEO Andrew Wilson pushing microtransactions when he was still in charge of FIFA when they started with Ultimate Team in 2010, 2011.
I mean,
this guy sounds really
they were peas in a pod when it came to microtransactions, as far as I'm aware. But yes, of course, as the CEO, it's always going to fall under Andrew's purview to be the one driving whatever business decisions they make.
Capitalist Pig says, in regards to Soderlund's bonus, he got a $20 million bonus to stay with EA,
right,
and then left not too long after.
But then he left. Like,
sure, I think we just said that it was $20 million when he left.
Right.
It was incorrect, so that's why it's here.
I did leave out each and every platform. I know I did it when I did it. Ignacio Rojas.
Don't acknowledge him if he's going to do stuff like that.
Get off my back.
Don't acknowledge him. Nanobiologist says we missed a new date. Final Fantasy 15's final DLC, episode Arden, is set to release March 26th and will be set 35 years before the events of the main game. Capitalist Pig says Bam is big ass monster in Terra.
But I said that.
You did, but it didn't ring to me that it was big ass monster. Like it was like a
gotcha.
Acronym, right? Yeah. Didn't miss that. A nanobiologist fucking listened to the show. Fucking nailed him. I did miss this. Zaire says another Xbox One backwards compatible today is Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Nanobiologist says an ETF is an exchange traded fund, an investment fund traded on the stock exchange, much like stocks. I don't understand how that leads to me playing the ponies, but thank you.
Oh no, but Krajuki says they help reduce the risk because if one stock hits zero, you still have something invested in other stocks. ETFs are more consistent with the market than individual stocks. Smart people that know more about money than we do.
I'm just saying now we're just getting into people talking. You know what I mean?
How do we have a debatable to get to? Come on.
Debatable. We're alive. Damn it. It's a miracle. Yeah, we're done. That's good. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show. Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames. Watch it live. Twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. Watch it later. YouTube.com/KindaFunnyGames. Now RoosterTeeth.com. And listen on podcast services around the globe. Kevin is showing me shock collars.
There was a You're Wrong in here. Somebody put in a shock collar.
Well, yeah.
Did you delete it?
Yeah, I try to keep You're Wrong updated as we go. Because again, not a You're Wrong. You can submit.
I know, but
submit the shock collar I should be wearing during this show to Twitter. Send it to Big Kev Dog.
Yep.
At Kinda Funny Kevin.
We just hit up the pork chop kids.
Can we hit up the pork chop kids?
Yeah, the Rooster Teeth.
Oh, cow chop. Yeah. I thought you had a hookup with a guy who's like known for making pork chops. I was pretty excited. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow Tim will be with me to close out the week before we stream some Anthem. Woo! Andrea will be streaming it with us. Kevin will be streaming with us.
Maybe.
Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.